I didn't have a job west of 42nd Street until I got hired by the police department. So,
Okay.
I always feel more comfortable up around North Omaha on the east
Mhm.
side of the city. That's generally Northeast Omaha for
Mhm.
22 years. Paul Hanson is a lieutenant, Northeast precinct evening shift.
Okay.
And again, Hansons choose to dedicate their careers to this part of town. This is where we feel comfortable. This is where we
Okay.
feel at home.
Well, I mean, you grew up here.
Well, and that's why it feels.
Hire from somewhere else. Is retirement already?
I think everybody brings their own unique skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because we got to serve the entire community. There are
Mm-hmm.
people that are great deputies, that are great police officers that choose to work in Millard or choose to work out in Western Douglas County because that's where they're comfortable. We got a lot of people that grew up in Millard or grew up in out in Western Douglas County who choose to work in North Omaha or South Omaha because that's what they're passionate. But it does help if you grow up in a community, ability to integrate.
Okay. What is one myth about being an officer? Is it as dangerous as they showed on the cops and robbery movies?
Well, it is. It's a very dangerous job, and
Mhm.
what we're blessed with is training, equipment, numbers, communication, and so if you look back at the law,
Mhm.
I mean, it was out of control back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and early 70s, and because we didn't have the luxury of training, we didn't have the luxury of manpower or equipment or bulletproof vests or enhanced digital radios. So what we've been able to do in recent history is take a dangerous job
Mhm.
and try to mitigate that danger a little bit. But every day, when these officers strap on their gun belt or the uniforms and they go to work, I mean, they could face a critical situation. They could
Right.
face something they didn't even expect. They could face someone going through a behavioral health crisis who never intended to hurt an officer or hurt themselves, or they could face that very dangerous offender
Mhm.
who today's the day and they're going to take their shot.
So your training has to be diverse from the CPR because I've seen some of the officers deliver babies.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to give CPR on duty. And so we have to have that good, diverse training. It's not only the tactical training,
Mhm.
it's not only the training about our policies and procedures, it's not only training over legal and statutes and ordinances, but also, being empathetic to the community that you serve, understanding that there's probably a backstory for why most people find themselves in their situation. And what I try to get across to people that work with me or for me is, hey, look, I want you to treat everybody that you come across, pretend like they are my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad, my son, even if you're interacting with them at their worst, because
Mhm.
every single one of us has a loved one that either struggles with behavioral health,
Mhm.
addiction, and they have their low points. And we need to treat them with empathy as well. It doesn't mean we let them put our officers or the public at risk,
Mhm.
but we need to do our best to be patient and try to be tactical and smart so that we're not pushing a critical incident.
Do you guys still do ride-alongs with citizens just to um, for people that's critical, skeptical, or individuals that want to learn the profession? I might want to do this, but I want to see if I really like this.
Yeah, well, I will tell you this. That's one thing I'd like to look at. I'd like to make sure that you can't approach the day like you would if you didn't have a ride along.
Yeah, because like you said, it's been an officer so spontaneous, you'll never know what's going to happen.
No, that's right. But I will tell you one thing I do think maybe even better than ride alongs is you're starting to see an enhanced investment in scenario based training. And so, whether it's a firearm simulator,
Mhm.
whether it's simulating a real use of force incident, whether it's simulating a de escalation incident,
Mhm.
that is where law enforcement is moving, trying to put police officers in those very difficult positions so their bodies and their heads know to react appropriately under adrenaline. There's no reason why we can't expose citizens to that as well.
Mhm.
We don't expect citizens to be perfect, but it helps give empathy. Just like we want police officers and deputies to be empathetic
Mhm.
to the public they serve, law enforcement is today.
Well, being a former probation officer and having a family, and dealing with individuals where you can't predict their behavior. Um, those that are critical sometimes got to be in the environment so you can understand why splits into those situations because of a certain reason.
And it's
Traffic,
super emotional too. It's emotional for them, for the police
uh-huh,
professional. You should leave your emotion at the door.
right?
But for the citizen, it's very emotional. And I think that's that balance. We have to be understanding it's
Mhm.
emotional, but at the same time, you can't subject the officer to public to risk because of someone's emotion. But it's worth training officers in how to de-escalate that emotion,
Right.
kind of bring that pressure down a little bit if you can. Most times, I think law enforcement professionals do a pretty good job of doing that.
And it's so critical these days that we don't paint a brush that every police officer behave the same because everyone has different experiences, like you just indicated earlier, citizens. Because as you see, um, just trends, as you see inflation go up, as you see prices go up, people tend to. So in the environment also.
In my experience, I think most of the reason behind property crime, I mean, there are those situations where you got someone they're trying to get bread or diapers for their
Mhm.
kids because they're hungry, they have no diapers. But the vast majority of the reason behind property crime is addiction. And so
Okay.
right now, what we are dealing with is this fentanyl crisis that we're dealing with. I mean, it is. I don't think I've ever seen a
Mhm.
background. Just shake a couple pieces of salt out on the
Mhm.
table. Take 1 grain of salt.
Right.
Look at it by itself. That is 1 user dosage of fentanyl, and that 1 user dosage
Mhm.
may be enough, depending on someone's tolerance level, to
Right.
kill them.
Are you serious?
2 grains of it could be fatal for even someone who's used to
So,
it.
so I see all those blue pills, and then I saw you guys caught somebody with some rainbow
Yep.
pills and stuff. Now, that's a whole fentanyl pill. So if they take one of those, can they kill?
Fentanyl is cheap.
Okay.
Fentanyl, and it gets smuggled over. So fentanyl has a high that is 10 times higher than heroin.
Okay.
It's 10 times higher than a traditional heroin.
Okay.
Opioid.
So heroin. A while back, I watched the
Fentanyl's
movies.
an opioid.
So they shoot with the needle.
No, fentanyl's usually taken. It's usually ingested orally. It can be used on a patch. You
Oh.
can't ingest it if it's cut. But what they're doing is these illicit drug groups.
Mhm.
They're taking these little grains of fentanyl,
Mhm.
and again, these guys aren't chemists. They don't know what they're doing,
Right.
and they are mixing it in with maybe traditional methamphetamine, cocaine, maybe some other type of stimulant,
Uh-huh.
some other type of drug, sometimes marijuana, and they're selling it. They know that the high is that powerful that people are going to want it again. It's very addictive. What they also realize is that unfortunately too many of their clients are going to die. So what happens is this: most people that I've talked to that have lost loved ones from fentanyl overdoses, here's the way it goes. You got maybe a professional female or a young man, they go out to the club,
Mhm.
and they're out there and they're dancing and they're maybe having some drinks and they're having a good time. Somebody comes up to them that they may know or that they don't know and say, "Hey, you want a third of an Adderall? You want half of a Xanax?
Mhm.
Do you want, something that looks
Right.
like a legitimate prescription drug?"
Okay.
It looks like it is, but it's not. It is probably methamphetamine with, 1 or 2 grains of fentanyl in it to give that strong, powerful impact when they take it. There was one young lady that I met her parents here recently, and she was so nervous about it that at the club, she actually turned on her flashlight on her phone, was inspecting it very closely to see if it looked like legitimate Adderall. She thought it was, and so she took it, and she was dead within hours.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, it's insidious, and people do
Wow.
not understand. You may get these pills that look like prescription drugs, like Xanax,
Mhm.
Addies, all those. They are probably meth or.
When I was a probation officer, and when I used to do drug testing, you can find rarely methamphetamines. Every once in a while, you find cocaine. Usually, it's more marijuana. But now it's like it's changed. We get more the meth and the other drugs and less marijuana. Are you seeing less marijuana use?
No, we're still seeing a lot of marijuana use. I
Okay.
think that it all depends. There's different type of marijuana users. You've got the traditional green leafy
Mhm.
smokers. You've got people that'll smoke the high THC level
Mhm.
dabs or wax. But then again, you've got these cartel groups, these fentanyl groups that they will even mix marijuana. They'll even mix
What?
the dabs with fentanyl just to get that addictive high, so people come
So,
back.
so what's the? I saw the president finally go to the border. What is your the sheriff? The sheriff is the top agency, is the top police agency. The sheriff can go across state lines. The sheriff is the top. So they're not listening to you guys in regards to the protocol, because if all these drugs are getting over it, we're not even talking about people. We're just talking about drugs, and they can eventually kill people. There's no protocol that.
Well, I tell you, I try to keep track of trends on the border. There's a couple news sites that I watch, couple Twitter pages that I watch, and the amount of fentanyl that is being intercepted at our southern border right now is staggering. And as a guy that did drug interdiction for years on the canine unit,
Mm-hmm.
that tells me that much.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting be taking anything that you don't know what it is, because it can kill you.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a young lady my age.
Mm-hmm.
It had fentanyl in it. Her child got a hold of it on her night, charged with that felony child abuse. It's a very
Wow.
serious charge, and it's
Wow.
tragic. She lost her son.
Wow. 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 These are a story that we actually need to hear about, so people can take stuff seriously. When they hear a snapshot, a snippet on the news, it's not really reality. I didn't know. I see those blue pills, and I think the rainbow pills. I say, well, I just don't understand it. But it's that easy. So how much one of those things cost? Is it
Fentanyl,
cheap or something?
fentanyl's cheap. Fentanyl, the drug cartels, they like it. I mean, it's cheap and it gives an incredibly powerful high, and so that's why they will. And it's very addictive. It's an opiate. It's one of the most powerful opioids that we have right now. So
But pill though.
there is ways you can get fentanyl in a prescription. Typically, it is going to be on a patch.
Okay.
So it's very carefully designed to give you a dosage that is slow and
Slow
over a
entry.
period of time.
Right.
But I bumped into fentanyl addicts over the years that they'll have 1, 2, 3 patches on them. I mean, their resistance or tolerance is so high, but they are bombed out.
So are these people not addicts?
So I think a lot of the people that we see living in tents.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've talked to people that have had people put up tents in their own backyard,
Mm-hmm.
like defecate in front of their kids, urinate in front of their kids, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. They called the police. They felt bad because they're like, "Hey, I don't want to get this guy in trouble. I feel bad. He's living in a tent. I'm living in my house, but I can't have someone defecating in front of my kids on my own property." But it's the same. It's a lot of those issues overlap. So if you see someone living in a tent, they're probably struggling with behavioral health. They're probably struggling with addiction, and or both, because to go into the shelters, you can't be strongly under the influence of drugs. You can't go in there drunk. And so the fact that people will choose to live in a tent in the elements because they can't get over their addiction, I mean, that's not only staggering, it's very sad for those people.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, I bumped into a female in a tent. We were looking for a young teenage girl that we had reason to believe was being sex trafficked in those tent villages. Knocked on one tent. Well, didn't knock on it, but woke up the person sleeping in the tent. It was a female, and she said I could open up the zipper. I opened it up, and she's laying there, and in one hand she's got a family radio, like the kind you can talk on, and in the other hand she had a butcher knife. And I said, "What are you doing? What's going on?" She goes, "Well, this is my rape prevention. I mean, if people come in and try to rape me in the middle of the night, I call for help on my radio and have a
Mm.
butcher knife. Too many vulnerable people are living
Wow.
in our community in those tent villages.
Wow. Wow. Omaha, the birds of Bloods. We're talking to our new sheriff, Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hanson, newly elected. We're gonna make sure we have him as a regular guest so we can kind of, stay in tune on criminal justice. And if we're gonna be proactive, we got to make sure that the sheriff and his sheriff deputies actually have a voice so we can stay proactive on crime. Um, I love my community without a doubt, and we report crime over here. Period. It's just that simple because we have women and children, and that's our obligation as men to make our community safe. How can you guys have multiple jobs, multiple opportunities? How can we apply for one of your opportunities?
So we've got a lot of different opportunities. We've got civilian opportunities. So if a young person wants to go to college and go into forensics, we got scientists that work for the sheriff's office. They can do forensics. You can be a chemist. You can be involved in the crime lab, the CSI effort. Those jobs are available right now. There's no jobs open for that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any posted, but right now, the one that I'm trying to fill the ranks, I hope there's 5 people listening to this broadcast that either may be interested, know someone who's interested, or know someone in a different community who's qualified and interested. 21 years of age, high school diploma or GED, driver's license, got to have a decent credit score, relatively little criminal record, and then no marijuana or drug usage, no marijuana usage in the last 2 years.
Okay, cool. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bloods. Make sure you guys go to Douglas County website. I know we've been listing the jobs that are available, from nurses to psych techs to correctional officers. So make sure you guys reach out to the Douglas County Sheriff. Apply. They need diversity. It's important that we protect our community. They have jobs available. Starting rate $65,000. I mean, that is a great starting wage.
It's life changing.
Yes.
I mean, it's the path to home ownership. I mean, you can own your home when I was a young police officer, I owned my own home within a year.
Okay.
It's worth it. It's a great career.
Without doubt. And it also, like I said, you don't have to be in a patrol car. There's civilian jobs, there's desk jobs. They got all types of jobs within the force.
You can be a detective. You can be a school resource officer. You can be on the boat patrol unit. You can be a canine handler. I mean, there are so many different. You can do community service. We have a deputy, and hopefully soon more, that are dedicated completely to community service, and we hope to expand that. Get more deputies involved in an auxiliary function. For years, we had a small handful of good, solid deputies working on that community outreach. My vision is I want to have an army of dedicated, compassionate deputies that are out there interacting with key areas in the community, build those relationships, build that trust.
What should we be doing?
So here's what I do. When I get pulled over, and believe it or not, as a cop, I've been pulled over a lot. I got tickets, over the years. Best thing you can do is have all your paperwork ready. Like I keep mine up
in your visor,
in the sunglass case of the visor.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that when you get stopped, what I do is I turn my dome light on so the deputy, up on the steering wheel.
Okay.
So the deputy knows where my hands are. When the peace officer, I'm deliberate. 9 times out of 10, the tone of voice you give that peace officer is the exact tone of voice you're going to get back, even if you made a mistake.
Right.
And so then you just let the officer walk you through what happens next. For example, I go armed, and I always make sure that my weapon is either secured on me in a holster or somewhere off me, not exposed out in the open. I don't want that officer walking up and seeing a handgun sitting out there in the open. But I will tell that officer right out of the chute, hey, I am legally in possession of a firearm. it is here. I have my identification. The firearm is located here.
Okay.
Those police officers appreciate that. And right out of the chute, that just sets the tone. Those officers will know they're dealing with someone who's squared away and someone who's not there to cause them trouble.
Right. Right. Well, honesty and being direct does decrease the nerves, and so make sure officers can see that. Turn on your dome light. If you can, make sure you put all your paperwork in your visor so you don't have to reach towards your glove.
And that way you don't have
box.
to dig for it ahead of time too, because if they see if an officer sees someone digging around the glove box, they may be looking for their paperwork, or they're hiding contraband, or they might be going for it. Right. Officers are trained to watch those movements on initial traffic stops. So just avoid it completely. Keep all your paperwork in order. And you know what? If you don't have some of your paperwork, just articulate it right out of the chute.
Right.
You'd be shocked how many cops in this community, deputies, police officers, troopers, will give people a warning. You know what I
was in Kansas, one of those cities, one of those states. I was driving through from work. They got me. But no, we appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys go to the Douglas County Sheriff website. You guys have your own website?
Douglas County's Human Resources website. So
Okay.
they do Douglas County, Omaha HR, Douglas County, Omaha jobs. It'll pop up. It'll be one of the first things on the Google search.
To being hired.
It depends on if it has law enforcement experience. It can go fairly quickly. If it's a new hire, it could take months. Because you got to do the background check, you got to do the credit check, you got to check the references, you got to do a physical evaluation, make sure they can physically do the job. You got to go through the interview process. So my advice is that if you're going to apply for the sheriff's office, if you're going to apply for any law enforcement agency, and you're not an existing law enforcement officer now, make sure you've at least got a job right now to pay the bills, to pay your rent. You know what I mean? Stick with that job that you have until you work your way through the process.
Okay.
The other thing is, on our website, on the Douglas County website, there's a link for more information on how to apply for deputy. There's an email address there. Anyone can send questions in to our recruitment team, our community service team. And if they have questions, or if they want to have a phone call, or probably even come chat with a recruiter or someone in the staff about it, we'll make that easy and flexible. No problem.
Being a new sheriff, your territory is the whole county, correct?
The four corners of Douglas County. That's correct.
How many officers do you have now, or can you engage in those numbers?
Yeah, right now I think we've got 142 sworn deputies.
Okay.
We have room for 148 for our budgeted strength. So we're looking for 6 good qualified deputies, whether they're laterals or brand new. But total strength between sworn and civilian, we've got about 250 people that work for the sheriff's office, because we're not only law enforcement. Again, we're scientists, we're forensics people. It's a very diverse place to work in terms of what type of jobs we do. Okay,
cool. Well, we're going to be talking to the sheriff so they can have a more proactive voice, and hopefully we can bring in some more of those professions, especially in the forensic science and stuff like that. Because I watched the 48 hours, I watched all that stuff, and so.
Well, here's what people don't realize: Douglas County's forensic division is essentially the forensics division for the majority of the Omaha metro area. Omaha Police Department has their own forensic CSI lab. I think they do Omaha Police and Bellevue. But for the vast majority, law enforcement agencies inside Douglas County, Washington County, Dodge County, Sarpy County, even some agencies in Iowa, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office is the primary forensics resource for those agencies. Now, they pay for that service outside Douglas County.
How many officers do you have in the forensic side?
Oh, I think on the forensic side, we might have maybe when you look between property and the chemists and the CSI team, we might have around 20 to 25.
Also, I've seen lately some vision for that, also just working on cold cases.
We do. So the sheriff's office has its own criminal investigative division. That's headed by Captain Eric Sellers, and we've got some great deputies. There's been many high-profile homicides that have happened down in the county lately. Our clearance rate so far has been pretty good. We've got a couple unsolved ones that we're still working on. But you can imagine being Douglas County and responsible for the 911 calls and the investigative follow-up, literally on one other side of the street from Omaha. You will get those high-risk crimes. We get a lot of that Omaha crime bleed over. It's an Omaha metropolitan crime issue. So we've got great detectives. We've got great detective command staff, and again, they're working high-profile cases.
Police they usually call afterwards, so we got to make sure that we're diligent with our community awareness. My mama used to stay in the window, so we need no mamas and daddies neighborhoods. Call the police. And I know in certain areas we have a high level of pedophiles. You can go on to the OPD website. You can see them all over our community. And as our children go back and forth to school, this got to be more conscientious of their routes and stuff like that. Us in a route, the grade school children are going to have to walk a little bit extra. Junior high children are going to have to walk a little extra, and they're going to be walking in front of these former sexual predators. And what advice would you give to parents? Because this is the real world, and I know you guys don't want to hear a story that could be preventative.
Right. I feel that concern because my 12-year-old son, he walks alone to a bus stop that's probably 5 blocks away. So I get it. Especially when it's cold or when it's dark, that can be scary. I think the best thing we can do, talk to our kids. Okay, make sure they know that unless the parent shows up or come up with some type of a password that the parent gives, like if someone drives up and says, "Hey, your mom or dad got hurt, come in the car with me," what's the password? They used to have when we were young. I don't know if people do that anymore. But also know your neighbors. Like you said, be familiar with the sex offender registry.
Right.
Not all sex offenders are high-risk sex offenders. Some of them are.
Right.
Be familiar with the sex offender registry, especially in your neighborhood. But know your neighbors. Know your neighbors on that route from your house to the bus stop.
That's
take
true.
the time to go talk to them. Maybe take them a sandwich. Take them some. Take them a treat. Take them a Coke. Something to make sure that you introduce your kid and say, "Hey, my son's going to walk by. My daughter's going to walk by." A lot of people know people in their neighborhood, but not as well as we should.
Right. Because when we grew up, and that's why we call it each other. Even we was being mischievous, our neighbors took care of our mischievousness because they knew our parents wouldn't want us to be mischievous, and then they told our parents, so we usually got double punishment.
Well, try to get your kids to walk in pairs too. If you can get another neighbor kid to leave in the same time and they're walking in a pair or 3 of them together, that's much safer than by themselves.
Without a doubt. All right, so we'll be giving you guys all these tips because the change of the season, the days are getting longer. Minute by minute, day by day, is getting low. We still got to be diligent because we still have about 4 more months of school left before the summer kicks off. What should we be preparing for what are you guys preparing for as the season changes? Do you guys, does that make a difference? Do you look at different trends in crime that you're aware of? Is it more property crime because people are more outside more? So because people are indoors because of the wintertime?
Yeah, property crime is a crime of availability. So, as more people are hanging out outside, as they're parking at those bike trails or at those parks, the people that are struggling with addiction, that are doing the repeat theft, you have an increased chance of being victimized. But honestly, theft anymore, it's a 12-month reality.
Okay.
And so, I think a couple things. Number one, if you look, I think Omaha ended the year with 29 homicides. And again, that's a downward trend.
Right.
Whereas most other places in the nation are statistically seeing that upward trend in homicides. Omaha, Douglas County is seeing that downward trend. And I think that's because of the good collaboration we have with the community and our police agencies, whether it be Douglas County Sheriffs or OPD. But we can't let that momentum slide. And when you look at the number of kids that were either victimized in those homicides or were the victimizer in those homicides that are juveniles, I think Chief Schmatter just reported it was about 30%. Imagine if we were back to the old numbers from a few years ago, where juveniles were maybe 1 or 2 of our homicide victims or aggressors. We would have had a historically low homicide year.
Right.
I mean, even 1 homicide's too much, but
Right.
we would have had historic lows. And so I think we gotta come to terms with what is happening with juveniles in our community. Not all juveniles,
Right.
but unfortunately enough of them that we're seeing this very scary upward trend in juvenile violence.
Chief Schmatter talked about at one meeting, I think they want us advocating these dollars, 1024, and some of the other advocacy bills. I think even the criminal justice bill. He said he would rather have 1,000 jobs versus adding 1,000 officers. Are you guys or do you guys plan to work together, the sheriff and as well as the chief, to come up with a different agenda, something history making, something different where it's more proactive, so we can get the numbers down in regards to incarceration of Black males, because this is the only city where the incarceration rate for Black males went up. And I think the only way to do that is to have a more proactive on the front end, a preventative methodology, because on the back end, it's not helping. Because right now, for every prisoner that we add to to Lincoln, it's costing us money.
Yeah, I think we need both. We need smart balance.
Yeah.
So like right now, we need to make sure that we have the tools and the laws and the prison infrastructure and the rehabilitation to deal with guys or gals that are engaging in dangerous, high-risk, repeat criminal behavior today. That's one end of the balance.
Right.
The other end of the balance is, to Chief Schmatter's point, he's right. We got to look further upstream. We got to figure out what is the reason for crime.
Right.
I mean, there are people out there, they're just bad people. They just make bad choices. They're always going to be, they've always been here. It's always going to be here. But if you look at the core reasons, if you really start looking upstream, it's poverty, it's addiction, it's hopelessness, it's generational cycles of poverty, generational cycles of crime, generational cycles of addiction. And so I think the chief is right, and I'm a big advocate of that as well, that we got to have that balance. We can't give up on our tools today. We got to be smart, but we got to have that upstream view to balance it out, because let's face it. I mean, I got a lot of friends and a lot of people in my family, they have kids that maybe traditional school was just not meant for them.
Right.
But when they got out and they got into a skilled trade, they thrived, because there are just some young people that traditional school settings is not where they thrive and not how they thrive. So I think we gotta meet these young people where they are. That's not to mean we drop the standards on them or let them just do whatever they want, but we got to be realistic. Got to be looking at better outcomes.
Sure. I can't get a gun. I don't know where I can get a gun. I try to get one legally. You got to have all the paperwork. So how are these young people getting guns? Are they taking it from their parents, or we mentioned property crime? Are they getting it from robberies or burglaries and people are fencing them off? Or are they getting them from gun sales in regards to these shows that come in town?
Sure. Well, first of all, let's talk about your issue. If you're a law-abiding citizen and you want to legally acquire, especially a handgun, come on out to the sheriff's office. You can apply for a handgun purchase permit. It's very easy. They do a quick background check. We'll get back to you fairly quickly. You'll get a handgun purchase permit once your background check comes back. That state of Nebraska handgun purchase permit will allow you to walk into any FFL and show that you passed a background check and easily purchase a firearm. And that's something I can actually help you with, or anyone at the front desk of the sheriff's office.
So that's the legal way to get a gun. You have to go to the sheriff's office. That's
right. If you want to buy a handgun, if you want to have a handgun transferred to you or transferred to someone else, you either have to have it transferred from someone with a federal firearms license to an individual with a state of Nebraska handgun purchase permit. Or if you do a private sale, both people have to have a handgun purchase permit just to show that both sides are legit. Now, the difference is If it is from a father to a son,
Mm-hmm.
or a mother to a daughter, or an uncle to a nephew,
Mm-hmm.
grandfather to a grandson, that type of family
Mm-hmm.
connection will avoid the need for the handgun purchase permit. But it's always a good idea to just have it. It lasts for 3 years. It's easy. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
take long, and you can get it. Now, to where our young people get these illicit guns, they steal them. There are young people in our community, and there are, again, the drug addicted people in our community who their whole function is to drive around town, middle of the night, check for unlocked doors, open up glove boxes, check center consoles, check under seats, looking for handguns. They're looking for guns.
That's what they do.
And
For
then
real?
they take those guns and they sell them on the street. They sell them on the black market. They'll either sell them to make money to fuel their addiction, and that is where a large proportion of our guns gets into the community, either breaking into cars or breaking into homes and stealing them. That's number one. Number two is the straw purchaser, and that is an individual. Maybe they took the time to go get their handgun purchase permit. Maybe they took the time to get their concealed carry permit. On paper, they look like a law-abiding citizen, but they have a business model in mind. And that business model is they are going to go buy as many guns as they can, especially with the concealed carry permit, where there's no need to register in the city of Omaha. They will buy as many guns as they can, with the whole goal of selling those guns as quickly as they can. So let's say they buy a Glock at a gun dealership for $500. Well, they're going to flip on the street for maybe $1,000 or maybe $1,500, depending on how badly someone wants it. So really, this is of illicit guns in our community: theft and straw purchases. There are some people that think there's a flow of guns coming in from the southern border in crates or from that. That's not happening.
Okay.
It's either through theft or through straw purchasing.
Okay. Mad Dads back in the day used to do gun buybacks. I'm pretty sure you was probably involved because you was probably on the gang unit. I don't think we have done anything like that, have we?
Omaha Police Department and ATF has done gun buybacks. I think they do them maybe twice a year.
Okay.
So it's pretty regular, and they'll promote it on social media pretty good.
Okay.
And they actually get a good turnout. I mean, people show up and give ammunition, explosives, gunpowder, guns, and they'll turn them in. No questions asked.
Now, a couple more questions. I saw guns that you gotta have, you gotta register in order to fire it. You gotta have your what do you call it? A fingerprint or something to shoot it. Well, why can't we have mechanisms like that where so someone else can't use someone else's gun? And if we know somebody used this gun, we know it's from this particular person. So stolen guns won't. Well, rubber revolvers, I think you get around with revolvers. Or what about ammunition also? Because that's usually how forensic, get the evidence off of bullets. Is it possible where we limit the bullet? Better, help law enforcement, but you gotta, I don't know, I'm looking at 007, you gotta actually have the fingerprint in order to fire this gun.
I know there was people that were trying to develop smart gun technology where you'd have to wear a ring or unique identifier. I don't know if those have worked well.
Right.
If they're reliable.
But what
Because
about
at the end of the day, why do guys like you and I get a firearm? To protect ourselves and our families. So we want to make sure that when we need it, it works. You know what I mean? So you don't want to make it too complicated.
Right.
But to your point about being able to track weapons used in crimes, we do have that technology right now. It's called NIBIN technology.
Okay.
And this happens around the country. If a firearm is used in a crime, or if someone leaves evidence of a crime at a scene, like shell casings, whatever, right now we have the technology to be able to match the gun with those rounds, or sometimes with the projectile itself.
Okay.
And again, that goes back to the forensics people. There's very talented forensic people, forensics investigators in the Omaha metro area. That's their whole expertise. And what you will see is series of incidents and shootings and shots fired events in which you can link to one gun.
Oh,
I've seen it sometimes where as many as 9 armed incidents are linked to one gun, and that's why it's so important.
To find that one person, usually that one person is using,
or to intercept that gun as early as you can. Because, look, if you can avoid the homicide by having smart gun laws and consequences in place that avoid the homicide, like if you can get the guy with the illegal gun, either get him under supervision or have appropriate consequences to stop his timeline, his upward trajectory towards violence, and try to avoid that homicide, avoid that shooting that can paralyze somebody. I'd rather do that than have to spend days and months in trying to investigate a homicide and solve a homicide. So I think that's, again, we need that smart balance.
Right. Witnesses. I witnessed a murder myself. I stopped a gentleman from raping a woman. They tried to intimidate me. Came to my house. Is there a way we can change the rules where witnesses can't get intimidated? I'm unique because I had 2 brothers that got killed, and so, but everyone can't take the intimidation. Some will buckle under it. But we need people. We need crime solved. So, is there a way that we can hold the victim's address until the trial, and so we can lessen the intimidation or the witness tampering? Because it happened to me. It happened to me, but I had the fortitude, and I was a probation officer at the time. I had the fortitude to work through it, but a lot of people don't have that fortitude. And can we give the defendant address out if they give the victim address out?
Okay, that's a couple pieces there. Number one, the defendant, hey, this is my address. They don't live there, so we got to be careful because we don't want someone going by and shooting up grandma's house just because her grandson, who made a poor choice, put his name at her address. Rights in this country, and people do have the right to confront their accuser. They have the right to discovery. It makes it tough. It makes it challenging for sure. They do have the right to know who makes comments against them when it's made in official manner. But I will tell you this: that's why we're lucky to have Senator Justin Wayne about 4 years ago. Used to be witness tampering was always the lowest level felony possible. It was a class 4 felony. Now, based on the crime that you are actually tampering with someone on, the underlying crime, the penalties are closer to the actual crime itself.
Oh, good.
And so that's important.
Yeah, that is.
But here's the other thing we talked about here before the show. We love it. We love it when law-abiding citizens, when witnesses come forward and tell their story. That's an important part of how we solve cases. I know a lot of people think we should solve it on our own. That's just not realistic. We need witnesses, but Crime Stoppers is crucial. Crime Stoppers works. I can tell you as a longtime investigator, and it's coming from the fugitive unit just now, if the best way that people can use Crime Stoppers is on that online app, that web-based version.
Okay.
It is 100% confidential.
Okay.
It actually routes through a server in another country. So even if someone wanted to throw a subpoena and say, well, tell me what IP address someone made this tip from, they can't do it because it's in another country.
Okay.
You can't serve a subpoena on another country.
Okay.
And so it is 100% confidential. The web-based version allows for the tipster to be able to communicate with the investigator. So let's say the initial tip is not clear.
Right.
The investigator can go, hey, I don't understand your tip. Did you mean the greenhouse on the corner, on the northeast corner, or the greenhouse on Memorialized? But as long as they don't say who they are, there's no way for them to be. It can be.
Okay.
And it also makes it easier for them to get paid. We've had some big payouts lately on Crime Stoppers. Omaha has a Crime Stoppers effort, and the Douglas County Sheriff's Office has its own Crime Stoppers.
So if they don't give their name out, how do they get paid?
It's going to give you a tipster ID number and a number to go to a bank to try to see if the tip was good, if you get paid. The problem is you end up going to the bank. You have to call back to Crime Stoppers. Hey, do I get paid for this? And if you lose your number, you're in trouble. If you put that piece of paper in your pants pocket, put it through the wash, you're SOL. So the web-based version, it's easy because now you know your tipster ID, you know your tipster number, and literally Crime Stoppers will get a hold of you on the message and say, go to any one of these banks you pick, give them this tipster ID number, give them this additional code, and you will get cash in your hand, no questions, no signature, no nothing. You're on your way.
Wow. Yeah, we need to talk more about that. That's real easy.
Well, and here's the deal. Think of it too. A lot of people are like, I don't want the money. I just want to do the right thing. What about this? What if you get the tip money and it's substantial? Let's say it's $25,000 to solve a homicide, or $10,000 on like a bank robbery, and you take that money and you don't want to keep it for yourself, but you want to put it into the victim's fund, or maybe the victim had kids that need a college savings fund. You could donate that anonymously to the survivor's college savings fund. You could use it to help offset their funeral expenses. Hell, you could give it to a great nonprofit group that tries to help kids further upstream to try to prevent cycles of crime and violence. There's a lot of ways to do it in good conscience.
Without doubt. Anything that we didn't discuss today, big brother, that you want to make sure we get across?
No, I appreciate the time. And like I said, my agency's open to you. If you want to bring in other deputies, subject matter experts, I'm happy to have them come here and have any conversations you want.
Cool. Next time, we'll give you we're gonna take some calls from the audience next time. But I wanted to make sure that we get everything. So I'd like to meet him when he gets back there. Okay. So you already got somebody to meet you. It's Queen. All right, Queen. Okay, we're gonna make sure that happens. Again, if you are looking for a job, the Dutch County Sheriff Department is looking for you. Just go to their website. You can go to orders or the apply there. Starting wages at $65,000 to be a Dutch County Sheriff. We need you. They have 6 officers, positions that are available, and so let's take advantage of this opportunity to protect and serve our community without a doubt.
Well, speaking of jobs, can I give one more plug? If policing, if law enforcement, being a deputy is not for you, consider a skilled trade. Even if you have a background or a reentry history, please send us at Reconnect Inc. She does a great job. You can find her on social media. You can find her on Facebook. She can help. Project Reset with the Nebraska Center for Workforce Development and Education. They can help connect you with a skilled trade job as well, get you into a high-paid skilled trade job. And Metro 180 reentry program, they can help as well. And you can find any of them easy on the internet, on Facebook. So if policing is not your cup of tea, great. There are so many high-paying jobs out there where people can get a whole new life, live in dignity, own a home, and have the life that they want to live, regardless of their background.
Without a doubt. And since the age of $6, we got to make sure that we challenge ourselves for greatness. Metro Community College also have some certificate programs where you can make $50,000 in weeks. Ames Institute. We have a lot of different agencies around here that are making sure that we're educated. You only have to go to training a few weeks. You can come out, like I said, making $50,000 to $60,000 easy. The time is now. All right, Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. We're going to take a quick break. We got about another hour. Welcome back to the Boss Midday Show. So what we got going on here? We're going to be saucy. Lachey.
Lachey, baby. Yeah. My game tight, coaching it, sexy fly, owning it, hip plays, owning it. It's too bad your girl ain't my man. I'm saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger. My love speeds, my people believe. Hills on fleek when you hit the streets. Respect on my name when you check for me. It's too bad your girl ain't my man. I'm saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger. They love to underestimate the cute face, they should know. I'm mama not too reincarnated, check my soul. I'm known for slaying situations all up on my toes. Your girl is cold. I don't rock with the likes of copy cutters. Ain't no builder, bitch, here ain't no room for that route. And watch the gas you spit out, rock with my flame in your mouth. From the tip of my Smith & Wesson Carolina. You can't confuse your girl with no one else, babe. I never lose, that's why they all up on me. So check the dude, if you ain't glowing up, babe. It's hitters all on my team, the queen still holds power, baby. Coaching it, sexy fly. Hips and thighs, it's too bad your girl ain't my man. I'm saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger. My husband's my people leave, heels on fleek when you hit the street. Respect on my name when you're checking me. It's too bad your girl ain't my man. I'm saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger. Oh, it's all about the back, so don't you get it confused. Step to me with fuckery, baby. You will lose. I'm not the type of chick you can step on her shoes. I will come for you. Rolling up like the fog in the night. I'm a silent type of killer. Take your soul with a smile. Hey. There I must suck and shut the soul, baby, baby. And I'm nothing left to say. I do it big by carving my own lane. You wanna know the secret to the game? Baby, do you and watch how they behave? My game tight, coaching it, sex fly, holding it, hips and thighs. It's too bad your girl in my name. I'm saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger. My people leave, heels on fleek when you hit the street. Respect on my name when you check me. It's too bad your girl in my name. I'm saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger, saucing with swagger. What's it out? Alright. Boss it. Push on, push on, push on. Down crucifix. Baby, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, cha. So baby, come on, give me slowly, cha. Give it to me, cha. So baby, push on, cha. Ain't nobody do me like you. They can't put it down like you do. Take your time. This is all you can hit. Save all this pretty thing. I need is you. You're the one I choose. So baby, come on, give me slowly, cha. So baby, give it to me, cha. Hey. So baby, push on, cha. If I put my body on you, would you rock my body? Too much of me can be bad or good. You ready for that, my boo? I can intoxicate you. I'm addictive, so are you really ready? You'll never lay, yeah. I go get you, take, yeah. Maybe any day, yeah. Maybe anywhere. Boy, you know that I'm never late. I go give you, take, maybe any day or anywhere. Baby, give it to me, cha. Cha. Give it to me, cha. So baby, push on, cha. So baby, give it to me, cha. So baby, come on, give it to me, cha. So baby, give it to me, cha. So baby, push on me. Push on me. Ain't nobody do me like you. Push on me. Would you watch my body? Will you? Such a Suave on the track. Lately I've been on my grind. I ain't wasting no time. I'm just trying to get in mine. Either way, I'ma shine. We can go through all these changes. I'm like shine. Just feels it whenever I'm lost. I've been reminiscing when it was different. All the times that I was sitting. Now I get while I'm stepping public, I'm dripping. Tell them all, cause they be tripping. I got time for nobody, cause around me tripping. I'm just trying to grind, so me and my bitches living. Hustle till I got it all, I see is riches. Riches, riches. All I see is riches. Riches, riches, riches. All I see is riches. On my time. I ain't wasting no time. I'm just trying to get mine. You don't want me, that's fine. Either way, I'ma shine. Either way, I live my life. We can go through all these changes. I'm like getting mine, no matter the cost. I'll be up these medications. Just pills here whenever I'm lost. Ain't got no time for no people except my family. Not a big dandy, I be sipping brandy. Leave out in my woods, lemon pills, but this ain't candy. Keep it 100, I got hundreds in my fanny. I gotta keep it on me where I'm from, it ain't friendly. Snakes in the grass, so be careful who your friends be. Past little, don't know the real me. Don't nobody know the I ain't wasting no time. I'm just trying to get mine. You don't know me, that's fine. Either way, I'ma shine. Either way, I live my life. Go through all these changes. I'm like getting mine, no matter the cost. I'll be up these medications. Whenever I'm lost. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm doing me. I'm doing me. Watch me do me. I'm feeling me. Me, baby. Walking through the club, now wash my shoes. Yeah, got a mean attitude, and your baby looking at me do what I do. Yeah, I'm so sexy. You know that they ain't comparing. I'm feeling daring, and if you ask me, I'm not caring. Yeah, shake it on the dance floor. Make your nigga some more. Yeah, pull me up a drink. Messed up, yeah, what you think? I'm doing me. I'm doing me. Watch me do me. I'm feeling me. I'm feeling me, baby. I'm feeling me. Okay, now turn me music up just a little. And you know I'm finna work, get a middle. And we can play like go. And you feel it, and I feel it. And we chillin', and we sippin'. And we gonna have fun, ain't no trippin'. And we might dippin'. And these girls be talking, I'm and he keep on watching me, watching me. And I keep on doing me. Doing me. I'm doing me. I'm doing me. Watch me do me. I'm feeling me. I'm feeling me, baby. I'm feeling. I'm doing me. I'm doing me. Watch me do me. I'm feeling me. I'm feeling me, baby. I'm feeling me.
What you want from me? Company. Baby, tell me what you want from me. If you don't want my company, I don't want you putting stunts on me. Why can't you be blunt with me? Baby, tell me what you want from me. If you don't want my company, girl, you gotta be upfront with me. Blunt with me. Girl, I'm too young to be stressing. You playing mind games and I ain't with the guessing. Taking at the second for my lesson. You had some tricks. I had my guard up, I needed protection. Lately I've been overwhelmed with aggression. You ain't just showing me love and affection. I can't be happy with constant depression. Ain't been worried about whoever you texting, girl.
Done crucifix though. It's Joey on the beats.
Who be the barber? Who be the down? Walking the Prada, what it done? Come in the logo, come in the done. That's the dada, come in the crucifix though. Parting now we from Puerto Rico. The man them go loco. Yeah, them go low. At the tacos. When I visit them from Mexico. The road. The dog crucifix though. Atlanta to London, Nebraska to Lagos to Asia. We dey give them Sonia, Mabella, Maria, Alexa, Julie, and Gabriella. They keep sending love letters. Compressor. We make them feel nice. She don't realize. And it the way you like. Just make that booty bounce. For crucifix though. Parting now we from Puerto Rico. We got them go low. We like the tacos. When I visit them from Mexico. To do what?
Oh yeah, welcome to the Boss Midday Show. I'm my host William King. I want to thank again my guest, Dutch County Sheriff Aaron Hanson. You know they're looking for the next sheriff, and it could be you. Make sure you guys get in contact with the Dutch County Sheriff Department. They're looking for you. Without a doubt. No, they don't want to arrest you. They want to hire you. All year without a doubt. All you need is a high school diploma, man. There's so many opportunities in the community on this Tell the Truth Tuesday. All year without a doubt, baby. You listen to the Boss Midday Show. It's 4:14. It's a beautiful day outside. It's supposed to snow on Wednesday, though. Let's pray that it stays to the south, or to the east, or to the west, or slide to the north. I like the weather we got right now. So on this Tell the Truth Tuesday, you know, we are research radio. Search you to tell the truth to yourself. Oh yeah, you can expect other people to lie, cheat, steal. Oh yeah, even plot to kill you. But if you don't lie to yourself, they can't get near you. Without doubt, baby. And then also accept constructive criticism. There's nothing wrong with the criticism of love. We're not talking about the criticism that put you down. We're talking about the criticism that builds you up. Yeah, the one that make you better. The one that wanna let you slack in your game. We do things here on purpose, man. The music that we play are from local people. The Burbs, the Bluffs, the O. And we play artists from around the nation that are unsigned. Independent artists. We break records here. Y'all listen to 95.7 The Boss. Oh yeah, today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. We're very purposeful on modifying our behavior so we're better individuals, better citizens, and better family members. What's wrong with we'll be a little bit better than you were yesterday. We're gonna come back with some more music, y'all. Boss with me. 5 o'clock, we got E-Dub.
Me and my girls, we step out back. We keep the flats in the bag. Step out back. Me and my girls, we step in the bag. Popping bottles, popping tags. Popping bottles, popping tags. Cause we bosses and we bag. Cause we bosses and we bag. Gotta get off work, gotta hit the girls. My kids good, they with they dad. No problems there, they understand. I'm the trillest chick that they ever had. Visualize my swag weird. Don't like my closet, so I pop a tags. Kill them softly with later rifle. We stepping out and we back. No disrespect to Queens. This is front line. Get the smelling of bull. These bosses here got no sun. We better we coming up food. Ain't quick to give up that ride a drink, turn it up. Me and my girls, we step out back. Me and my girls, we step out back. We keep the flats in the bag. We keep the flats in the bag. Popping bottles, popping tags. Popping bottles, popping tags. Cause we bosses and we bag. Cause we flats in the bag. We keep the flats in the bag. And we bag. Look hard, but don't touch. We too cute, but we'll crush. Pretty toes in 6 inches. Slacks on deck to check. If you want it, they can get it too. But we came to party, not act a fool. Don't get it twisted just because it's twisted. We ladies first, then bad bitch. Melanin brown, vanilla shade. Place Asian with a Creole twist. Indian spice to get it right. Bad bitch is so misfit. Slow, nice, Brazilian. Hair on fleek and curls right. We show stopping and bottle popping. Twerk, no panties dropping. No panties. Me and my girls, we step out back. Me and my girls, we step out back. We keep the flats in the bag. We keep the flats in the bag. Popping bottles, popping tags. Popping bottles, popping tags. Cause we bosses and we bag. Cause we bosses and we bag. Me and my girls, we step out back. Me and my girls, we step out back. We keep the flats in the bag. We keep the flats in the bag. Popping bottles, popping tags. Popping bottles, popping tags. Cause we bosses and we bad. Cause we bosses and we bad. Cause we bosses and we bad.
Oh yeah, we can roll it out. That was Miss VA. Now Eric King, boss with us.
Here we go again, tired of the same, sick of this petty, you be on lane, no sense in calling, tonight I'm on gang, all that back and forth slick talk, you can save it, who you playing with, girl, you playing with, whoa now, girl you need to pipe down, staying out late with your friends, but you got something to say every time I leave the house, I can see it now, the respect gone. How How we gon' make it when the truck's gone? Acting brand new, tell me what's wrong. You know I was a bad boy, no punk comes. Everything was up, now it's down. Everything you say is out of bounds. My mama told me that you ain't the one girl, but I see now, and that's why I'm not coming home tonight. I'm not coming home tonight. I'ma find somebody to replace you. I'ma meet somebody that's grateful. I'ma find somebody that's faithful. You a lost cause, I can't save you. I'm not coming home tonight. Don't stay up, girl, waiting for me. I'ma find somebody to replace you. I'ma meet somebody that's grateful. I'ma find somebody that's faithful. You a lost cause, I can't save you.
I wake up, I'm winning. That's how I'm feeling, cause I got some homies that died in the struggle. I got some homies that died in my hustle. Strong with the game, flexing my muscle. Flex on the measure like Irvin. Straight to the bank with that check and a spurgeon. Fresh out the lot and that foreign to swerving. Just hating cause they pockets hurting, but I'm on a mission to get it. Jury custom fitted. Look back one day. Did it. Said a young winning. Had to do it for my team. Had to take a couple losses just to find out what it means. Now that I got it, can't let it go. They stay shining like never before. Straight from the bottom, came from below. They see it coming, I hit them some more. Look like a chick when I walk out the door. You know I spin it, they go get some more. You know, ice like I fell in the snow. Get that check, I'm spinning. Paper like I printed. Rock expensive linen. No, I can't lose, I'm winning. I can't lose, I'm winning. Ain't got a boy, I'm balling to the ending. I wake up, I'm winning. Lose, I'm winning. I can't lose, I'm winning like Zeke. I know they gon' cheat, but I fail, I feel a defeat. Feeling hands on the body, so feel away from stretching the penny. Now when they see me, they know I got plenty. Now when they see me, Versace my linen. Thought it was over, it's just the beginning. I wake up, I'm winning. Get that check, I'm spinning. Paper like I printed. Rock expensive linen. No, I can't lose, I'm winning. I can't lose, I'm winning. Ain't gotta check the score. I'm balling to the ending. I wake up, I'm winning. Get that check, I'm spending. Paper like I printed. Rock expensive linen. No, I can't lose, I'm winning. I can't lose, I'm winning. Ain't gotta check the score. I'm balling to the ending. I wake up, winning. I can't lose, I'm winning. Paper like I printed. Get that check, I'm spending. I keep it real, I can't do no pretending. Chasing that paper, I'm running like winning. But I'm on a mission to get it. I'm balling to the ending.
Started from the M1 in a bliss. I'm on one, y'all that thinks he making pretty. Come to this. I started from there and I started. Yeah, I'm on one in a bliss. I'm on one, y'all headed to heavy. Started from the end, but God made something to this. Started from the end, but God made something to this. Yeah, nothing from some man, gotta prove them days was so cold, made you like a cooler. We started from the bottom, just like a stool, but God brought us out like a bag of manure. Started in the hood where they shoot like Kyrie. Some days, man, I was worried. Had to pray. I was protected the whole time when I looked up and see. I was down bad, but I came up on a slow grind. Then I got signed all the time. Man, I seen a lot, been through a lot. When I could've killed myself, I could've stopped, yeah. Oh God, run me out. This is bigger than music. I hope that you see that we started from the end, but God made something to this. I start from the end. Yeah, I'm on one. Yeah, I'm on one in a bliss. I'm on one. Yeah, I'm headed to heaven forever. I'ma live forever and ever. Yeah, I waited in a fetch you started from the end. Yeah, I'm on one. Yeah, I'm on one. Live forever and ever. Yeah, I waited in a fetch. Things we make it perfect, God we make it. Started from the end. Yeah, all of that pressure, I'm apply today. Getting it now, I know I can't wait. Foot on the gas, I ain't got no brakes. Headed that way. Nothing from something, that's what God makes. I'm on one today, night. Talk a Drake, get a nigga down, jail like a flake. Them blessings is falling right up on my plate. I'm feeling amazing. What's the occasion? The elevation. Now celebrating. Cause we started from nothing. Yeah, started from nothing. Yeah, started from nothing. We celebrating, yeah, we celebrating, cause we started from nothing. From nothing, yeah. Started from the end, but God made something to this. I started from the end, I started yeah, I'm on one, yeah, I'm on one in a bliss. I'm on one, yeah, I'm headed to heaven forever. I'ma live forever and ever and ever. Yeah, I awaited and infatuated by that things he make it perfect. God, we make it. Started from the end, but God made something. I'm on one in a bliss. I'm on one, yeah, I'm to heaven forever. I'ma live forever and ever and ever. Yeah, I awaited and infatuated by the things he making perfect. God, we make it. Started from the end, but God made something that is. Started from the end, but God made something that is. Yeah, yeah. Ocean, yeah, me right away. You know nobody got you like I got you. Keep you safe. And if you ever need, won't be a minute. No, baby, don't you run away. Explore inside your ocean, yeah, let me run away. You know nobody got you like I got you. Keep you safe. And if you ever need me, I'm all up my heart playing defense. But you know we stuck to each other like me and Steven. Sometimes when we fight it, I wish we could just leave it. Every time we lie to each other, why do we believe it? I don't wanna fight no more. Pull up on you in the night, do you right no more? From the minute that I met you, yeah, I knew your word. It ain't easy when it's feeling good, you trust my words. I'll pick up my phone and answer your calls. We ain't gotta argue, don't need reason to fall. Your presence is a drug and your love is a buzz. We can down, baby, don't you run away. Explore inside your ocean, yeah, let me run away. You know nobody got you like I got you, keep you safe. And if you ever need me, I won't be a minute late. We can down, baby, don't you run away. Explore inside your ocean, yeah, let me run away. You nobody got you like I got you, keep you safe. And if you ever need me, I won't be a minute late. Need you to take, you know that I'll slide through. Even when I don't have it, I'll still provide for you. If it ever came to it, I'll sling that out for you. Flew you out to Cali so that we could change the view. My boo thing, we can make it work like a 9 to 5. I'm staying clean, yeah, you know you mine. These got nothing on you, so you'll be fine. You'll have my time, tell them to get in line. I'll pick up my phone and answer your calls. We ain't got no reason to fall. Your presence is a drug and your love is a buzz. We can down, baby, don't you run away. Explore inside your ocean, yeah, let me run away. You know nobody got you like I got you, keep you safe. And if you ever need me, I won't be a minute late. We can down, baby, don't you run away. Explore inside your ocean, yeah, let me run away. You know nobody got you like I got you, keep you safe. And if you ever need me, I won't be a minute late.
They try and they try, but they don't realize, recognize all those realize, and nothing's gonna stop me. No, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm focused on my vision, keeping my sons out of prison and my daughter out the system. That independent women prison can't let the carnage get. But they don't realize, recognize what those realize, and nothing's gonna stop me. No, nothing's gonna stop me. No, nothing's gonna stop me. No, Nothing's gonna stop me. Why my people envy me? Why? In the hood, success is hard to see. Why these on some sucker shit? Why? My side the target of the government. Why? When you speak real, the word doesn't hit. But 4 or 5 gunshots when it doesn't hit. How you let money break us? You joined the gossip when my name came up. When we started, this ain't us. I swear that they try, but they don't realize, recognize, or don't realize. No, nothing's gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me. X-ray conversations, deep feelings, self-conscious, baby, just so I take my time through all bases. And in my book, you the one I mentioned and all recognize, girl, I ain't playing. I be deceiving myself if I caught myself creeping. And I be lying to myself if I'm there, just gotta tell you the truth. Remember you told me sometimes you get a little bit nervous. Yeah. But I'm headed to your bed and forgot about every night. Do you believe you can fall in love with quality? Give up the fame and the vanity. Your feminine ways had me thinking for a moment. And I appreciate the fact my patience was worth it. Coast to coast, we toast the growth. I hope you grow to all with or without me. No off from around me. You can see respect's around me, so don't you be too extra around me. If you ain't real, then get from around me. And don't you be too extra around me. If you ain't real, then get from around me. And be too extra around me. Remember you told me sometimes you get a little bit nervous. Yeah, but I'm headed to your bed and forgot about my schedule on purpose. Ooh, you don't even gotta settle with some guy who think he's better if he's worthless. Every time you cry. Like every night. Ecstatic. Michael Paris. Yeah. You serve better. You're a living treasure. And if you have me, I'll have you.
Everybody for their motherfucking selfie. Everybody for their motherfucking self. Wishy-washy.
Yo, wishy,
Said you wishy-washy. 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 Y'all done open that box like a couple of thoughts. Y'all just wishing y'all watch it. Take a look at my watch. Have a look at my watch. Y'all just wishing y'all watch it. At the shows, got the most coming to see me. Got the hoe coming to see me. Got black shows coming to see me. Got my dogs, got my pros, got my hoe coming to see me. I got moms coming to see me. Moms coming to see me. Yeah. Y'all wishing y'all watch. Hey there, if you thirsty, go grab you a bus. All about that nonsense, running from the cops. I wish I would, I'd be ready to relapse. Yeah. I am my own boss, I know what that costs. I've taken my loss. Y'all saying y'all watch. Yo wishing you watch it. 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 Yo wishing you said you wishy-washy. 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 Washy. Run it to your friends, you're telling everybody. Now they talk about me, they ask about me. If it makes you happy, if it makes you feel important, that's what make me happy. He's important, it don't make you happy. Now you fuck the fame, I want more. Give me the rain, make it pour. Give me the pain, give me it all. I want diamonds, I want gold. King of diamonds when I'm bored. Got that juice, got the sauce, honey. I need props to my pops. I need props to my mom, to my Ivy, to my Frankie, to my Kelly, to my Jody. Shout out to my fam squad, aka the Glam Squad. If you represent, yeah.
Hey. Yeah, you heard it right. It's a QB's production. That's my son. Literally. Man, whoever thought the older you got, the colder you got. Hey, check me out. Determination to change the nation, I'm manifesting the truth. Back in the booth to give you the messages that's been channeling right through me. No, I'm not Jesus, although my spirit is great. I'm eating my food without a plate, escaping this place through my meditations. New life begun when I reloaded the gun and realized where I was from was not too far from the sun. Like somewhere close by the moon. Now I'm connected like Zoom. All walks of life that ever lived call me like out of the blue. So I just pass it to you, right through your speakers with clues. And if you choose to free your mind, then you will have all the tools. But I can't make you take it and shake it and mentally break yourself out. Cause freeing your mind without a doubt is something you have to try out. But once you see the light, your might, and all the power you've had, then you have reached the fifth dimension and you can brighten your path. For others who choose to follow the red pills, it's harder to swallow. Or you can wallow in your sorrows, feeling all empty and hollow. The only way you'll see the truth is if it's starting with you. So please stop lying to yourself, start being truthful to you. The only way you'll see the truth is if it's starting with you. So please stop lying to yourself, start being truthful to you, to you.
You are king. You are king. You are king. Yeah, you are king. You are Alpha and Omega, the beginning mountains before you. Lord, you are the great I am. There's nobody like you. That's who you are. I'm gonna lift my hands and give you glory. Lord, you are the great contender. Power flowing over your way. Every nation will call you Father, for you are the Ancient of Days. You precious Lord. You are the great contender. You reign. You reign. There's nobody like you, God. You're high, you lifted up. And your kingdom forever. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. It will reign forever. Yeah. You're too high to get over. Too low to get under. You're unshakable. Unmovable. You reign forever and we're here to proclaim Yahweh is the great God, and we ascribe glory to your name. Here to proclaim. Can you catch that? I'ma throw it back. Can you catch that? Can you catch that? I'ma throw it back. I'ma throw it back. Can you catch that? Can you catch that? I'ma throw it back. Can you catch that? Can you catch that? Everyone has to bring their booty shorts and their bikinis.
Omaha, the Burbs of Bluffs. Thanks for checking out the Boss Midday Show. I had some. Make sure you guys drive safe out there. It's going to be a beautiful day. It says it's going to be snowing tomorrow into Thursday, so make sure you guys drive safe out there. The day is Tell Truth Tuesday. Boss with us.
You see me with a new chick, yeah, you know she made me feel better. I see you still with this girl, I hope it make you feel better. Now you stop with a you hope make you feel better. But still you don't feel better, yeah. You was all in the mirror. Your IG story was so lit November. It became so clear to me. You were prepared to cheat, like changing your hair. Still like what should you wear? When you got a few exes there, but who's playing fair? In love and war, guess you done been here before. Since you keeping score, I'm trying to figure out why all of a sudden